this and that and what the fuck else, episode 127. In this episode I'm going to talk about the pestilence, ugly stuff from the Donbass, gender thing, Germany, global revolution, some green stuff, and interesting question about immigration. It's a crazy time. Things are not looking good for the world. There are forces in operation that are dead set on getting us into deep shit. Deep shit. Like Newcons there in the shit house in Washington. Those guys are without conscience. And they got themselves into a mess in the Ukraine. And they don't know how to get out. And as Alexander from the Turan said, they're now on the escalation escalator. And they can't get off. But in any case, that is what we have. So let's start. I'm going to start not with an image to be judged. I'm going to show you this image and look at that. I had a major problem on the way to town. These selfish girls were riding side by side and I had to follow them for about an hour. Eventually they turned off and I could get past. If you want to believe that, believe it. Next, before we start with the real rubbish and ugly shit, for a moment, look at this. These are images from the northern Urals in Russia. I'm going to give you a little slideshow. Take a deep breath and enjoy. Spectacular world that we live in. Unfortunately, we don't always get the time to really appreciate it and the opportunities to appreciate it. And then we get to the pestilence. The COVIDians in Australia cannot stop themselves. They are such greedy, murderous slugs. They have decided to go for the number 5 shot. Just in case you are still not. Are these pushers human? And I think it's a very valid question. And then there was this interesting post. List of employers not requiring their employees to get vaccinated. The White House, the CDC, the FDA, the WHO, Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. Wake up, people. Those are the big pushers, but they don't take it. So think about that. And then Peter from Sweden, he is quite active and he's got a big following and so forth. Bombshell news. Pfizer releases a statement admitting that they are engineering COVID viruses in their lab. This is the biggest scandal this decade. Total silence from the mainstream media. Yeah, why? How is this possible? Then more from him. Pfizer says they are doing mutations of the main protease, part of the CHAP virus, and engineering it. They are doing this to make new jabs. Why aren't they arrested yet? And that is a very legitimate question. I cannot understand what is going on. The evidence that is coming out is shocking, but I don't see any action. Spain is now the 9th country to take its health minister to court and win. The Spanish High Court has announced that the pestilence is a bioweapon with a patent. Let that sink in. And then we get to the Donbass. Another Ukrainian heinous war crime, 14 civilians killed in a hospital by US supplied missiles. And as we know from Ukrainian officials, the targets of the HIMARS are agreed by Washington. So it makes the US directly complicit. US taxpayers should be aware of how their money is used. And someone made a comment on a previous Skidmark of mine and said that Sky News in Britain reckons that attack on that hospital was fake news. But Eva Bartlett is in the Donbass. And her videos, she took the videos and showed that. And then we get to this disturbing thing. On Vatuna Street, in the southeastern part of Bakhmut, soldiers of the Wagner PMC are working in the area of the Trubny headquarters. Wagnerites found dead foreign mercenaries of the armed forces of Ukraine. In an attempt to hide the number and nationality of those killed, Ukrainian militants cut off the mercenaries' hands and heads. The mercenaries came from Israel and Poland. How brutal is that? Yevgeny Prigozhin commented about the corpses of foreign mercenaries. Today in Bakhmut, units of Wagner PMC found bodies with severed heads and hands, as well as telephones and other information that these bodies belonged to the foreign mercenaries. Due to the dense fighting, the enemy was unable to pull out these bodies and thus tried to hide the identities of these corpses. However, the electronic devices were found along with the bodies. All the bodies and other evidence will soon be handed over to the investigating authorities for further decisions. Guys, this is absolutely brutal. Look at that, and I'm not going to spend time on that shot, but yes, this is what they are doing there. That is what that Zazis are doing. And here's some more images. This is something that you cannot condone it. And then we get to the energy thing. And I've got a mouthful about this. Russia's hold over nuclear fuel. Hungarian foreign minister claims German politicians are blocking work for the upgrade of Hungary's packed nuclear facility, which produces half of the country's electricity. Work is being carried out by Russia's Rosatom and European firms. France's Framatome and Germany's Siemens Energy were contracted to supply control systems, but haven't done so due to the opposition from Berlin. Sujarto stressed that the sanctions imposed on Russia do not currently restrict EU cooperation with Moscow on civil atomic energy. Hungary's Prime Minister Orbán states Hungary will veto any EU sanctions that may affect collaboration with Russia's nuclear energy sector. The thing that really disturbs me is the heading of that article, Russia's hold over nuclear fuel. Now I want to know, where is the articles that say America's hold over SWIFT, America's hold over foreign assets? Where are those articles? And then we get to the gender thing. And you just can look at this image. The guy just said, appalling. I put an emoji over the poor child's face. Look at that image. How can a civilized, decent society allow this to be done to their children? How? And then we get to Germany. Russia made a mistake by relying on the development of a strategic cooperation with a non-sovereign country, Germany. Point of reason, that's a telegram guy. One of the important intermediate results of the war in Ukraine is a demonstration of the lack of political subjectivity of Germany. Bright and somehow too shameful for Berlin. Relations between the USA and Germany now do not even look like interaction of a senior and junior ally. There is an almost complete subordination of German foreign policy to the interest of the American administration. And that is so true. Germany is not And then we get to this disturbing news. Not disturbing for me, disturbing for the West, and should be especially disturbing for NATO. The state of the Bundeswehr is more dismal than ever. Critical year to reform was lost. The German army is in the most deplorable state than ever because of assistance to Ukraine. In addition, The Economist quotes the words of the commander of the Bundeswehr, Alphonse Mays. After almost a year of conflict in Ukraine, the stock of German ammunition would have been enough for several days and not for 30 as recommended by NATO. The radio equipment used by the troops is already 40 years old. It is analog, so it's easy to intercept the signals. Of the 350 Puma infantry fighting vehicles, only 150 are operational, according to a December report by the Inspector General of the Armed Forces, Eberhard Zorn. The Bundeswehr does not even have enough band-aids. This is something that the West should take note of. And then this from AZ. At first the Germans sent soldiers, helmets to Ukraine, saying that they did not want to supply lethal weapons there. Now it comes to tanks, and there are already talks about planes. Step by step the Germans are drifting towards war. And it was by Viktor Orban. And he is right. And that Annalena Dambach has said, Germany are at war with Russia. Now they're trying to spin their story out of that, but they can't. It is on video. MasterCard loses 30 million due to Russia sanctions. International payment system MasterCard has lost $30 million in 2022 due to the suspension of operations in Russia, the company said in its financial statements. A loss before tax for the whole 2022 of 30 million was directly related to the sanctions imposed and the suspension of our activities in the Russian Federation. The company estimated the total losses from operation in Russia at $67 million, mainly due to additional staff costs, which were, however, offset by the $37 million saved as a result of lower payouts to Russian customers. Fact of the matter is, this was not necessary. This is a lot of money lost to the West. Why? And then there was this interesting article. Bitcoin will be established as a means of payment for state agencies in newly introduced NYC bill passes. The introduction comes as a US Senator introduces another bill to have all restaurants and vending machines in Congress buildings accept cryptocurrency. It's a good move. I like that. You see, and why I like it? Because it's not centralized currency. And then there's this interesting video that I saw. This is just a screen grab from it. It's a machine that is picking apples. And that thing is working night and day. And then we get to South America. The time has come to create a new world. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro said that the time has come to build a new multipolar world that will unite all countries that oppose the West, led by Putin and Xi Jinping. To unite the efforts and paths of the peoples of Latin America and the Caribbean, promote the formation of a powerful political and economic bloc, a bloc that speaks to the world, invites the world to integrate, to build new poles of power, for the happiness, progress and prosperity of all Latin American and Caribbean countries. And that is a good move. I like it. But they're going to have a lot of shit because they sit very close to America. The Americans is not going to sit and allow them to do that. And then there was this meme, the green stuff. Me, I love grilling meat. Vegan. Meat is murder. You should eat vegetables instead. Vegetable. And that piece of broccoli, throw a middle finger to the vegan. That's how I feel as well. Now the following image, I have used similar images previously in Skidmarks. And look at that. That is now clearly, it looks like a tree. The question that I have, once again, how fucking high was that tree? And with what the hell did with what was it cut off? Who cut it off and with what? Think about that. And then there's this interesting post from Brandy and Coke. Why are Zimbabweans following the white folks they asked to leave? You got their land, businesses, houses, infrastructure, etc. It's ironic to think that your liberation gave you everything you demanded, and yet here you are, illegally behaving like parasites. And that's a reference to the high number of Zimbabwean immigrants in South Africa. And then we get to that what the fuck moment. You can look at this image and just shake your head. It's okay, I'm Jewish. Because this is what the Zazi lovers always tell you. Zelensky is a Jew. Zelensky is a Jew. As if a fucking Jew can't be a Nazi. What are they talking about? In any case, I don't want to get angry today. I'm angry enough. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share anything, and thank you for the support. I see the subscriber numbers is climbing. Guys, but you must hit the likes, because sometimes I see high view numbers and low likes. Please, that like costs you nothing. Just hit the like button. Thank you. Have a nice day.